recent news article suggests that 2/3 of middle-aged Americans are actually underestimating the likelihood that they're going to need long-term health care. The good news is you can address the issue when you're planning for retirement. Greg Taylor is back along with Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group to tell us really how this can be done. And this is an important issue that we've talked about before.
Yes,
It is, and we find a lot of people don't take the time to plan for it because they figure if they plan for it, it might happen, right?
Right, you're
That's
jinxing
the
yourself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the scary thing of it.
Now, Greg, we hope, of course, that we're not going to need long-term care. That's the bottom line. But it is probably something that none of us should rule out. And we have some statistics that are kind of staggering when it comes to just how much of an impact it can have.
Absolutely. There's 7 out of 10 Americans during their lifetime more than likely are going to experience either home health care, assisted living, or nursing home care. And most of them aren't prepared for that. And beyond that, the problem is this, I think, a lot of times, 33% of people polled between the ages of 55 and 64 thought that Medicare was going to cover the costs. Medicare certainly covers a little bit of rehab, but is not long-term care insurance at all.
And then in that case, I feel like a lot of times people don't even realize that they need to start planning because they don't think about it.
That's
and then
right.
it's too late.
That's true. And what we find, because we kind of take a poll, if you will, when people come in to meet with us, and there's this underlying concern about long-term care, but most people figure, oh, long-term care insurance is too expensive, so I'm just not going to address that need at all. And that's the absolute worst thing you can do. And we agree, a lot of times it is too expensive, but there's other ways to offset those costs and to address the future need without wasting dollars.
Yeah, and how do you do that? If a potential client comes in and says, I need to plan for this, what do you advise?
Yeah, so if they don't have long-term care insurance already, we kind of discuss the costs, which could be over $250 a day. And we talk about how we can use elder law planning to help future planning needs with long-term care stays, and then also our income planning sometimes will generate additional benefits that will cover those costs for up to 5 years, which will allow us to then do additional planning with the elder law.
Well, that's a great point, because we just met recently with a family and they were really concerned about long-term care, but one of them actually was not even healthy enough to get benefits. So we did a plan for them where it was going to give them $40,000 a year predictable income they could never outlive. But if either of them couldn't perform 2 of 6 of what's called the ADLs, or activities of daily living, that $40,000 would double to $80,000 for up to 5 years. That can be used for home care, assisted living, nursing home care without any additional premiums or costs. Even though it's not long-term care insurance, it gave them peace of saying, okay, we know how we can help pay for that later.
Sure.
And there's other strategies as well that we don't have time to go into all of it today, but these are things that people need to be aware of. You don't have to just say, throw up your hands and say, well,
right,
I
stick
can't
your head
afford
in the
it.
sand
Right.
and hope it doesn't come about. You just take care of the need.
Well, and it's a good chunk of change that this stuff, I mean, this healthcare costs in general, not to mention long-term care, they're skyrocketing. So we need to be ready.
Yes, healthcare is another good one that you touched on there. We do a lot of income plans which are staggered to cover maybe the shortfall before Medicare sets in.
Okay.
And so we do a lot with healthcare planning as well, yes.
And so it sounds like the key then to all of this is really planning for a steady income so that even if you didn't have long-term care insurance, you have something that's going to be a buffer to help you pay for it, right?
Perfect way to put it, absolutely.
Okay, and is there a way for you to do that where you'll never outlive your money? Is that a possibility for a lot of folks?
Yes, there is. And we do this all the time in our practice. We're helping families understand how that they can plan for income that they're not going to outlive, and know that they have contractual guarantees from highly rated companies that back that up, with reserves that they're required by law to put in place for them. So that's what we do in our practice on a week in, week out basis. And that's where we focus all our attention on those that are over 50, that are already retired or getting ready to retire, and these are the things that they need to know about.
And it can be stressful, so you always help them out with some good reading material.
We do. Patrick Kelly has written the book Stress-Free Retirement, and the reason that we're offering this as a giveaway today for the first 20 callers is that there's a part in the book that talks about the activities of daily living doubler that's available in some of the contracts that we talked about. I think the book in general is great because it can show you how to get some of these needs met in your retirement, but especially that long-term care element It'll be a good read. So the first 20 callers today, we've got a copy for them complimentary.
All right, and as always, you want to set up an appointment with Greg and Kristen, you can call them at the phone number on your screen, get things squared away. So thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.